Where is he?
Where are you? Skull Rock. Do you know it?
Hello, this is Stacy over at the Skull Rock broadcast. I am joined by...
Hello, this is Megan. Welcome back to our Stranger Things podcast. And we also have another guest joining us today. And they are joining us for our first episode of season 4. I can't believe that we're starting season 4 of our podcast. So we'll be diving into our Lover's Lake deep dive episodes of season 4. But before we get into that, we wanted to do this fun episode today. And we had the perfect person to do it with us because this is one of the biggest Eddie Munson, Joseph Quinn fans we know.
Yep.
So welcome to the podcast, Rachel.
Hello.
Rachel is a friend from California. I feel like that's how we've described her before on the podcast.
Yeah.
Rachel, our friend from California. And I first met you in person when we went to the Upside Down Con because you came and stayed with us. But I think
That was the first time you met her?
Yeah, that was the first time I met Rachel.
That's fun.
Yeah, but you had met Rachel, Stacy, in New Orleans?
New Orleans,
Yep.
because we
Okay.
followed each other on social media. And it was January of 2023. And I remember I'm at Fan Expo, New Orleans, and I can't figure out the paper towel dispenser. And this angel comes out of nowhere and is like, no, you do it this way. She saw I was struggling. And I went, oh, thanks, darling. And then I walked off, and it took me like an hour. And I went, wait a second. I think I follow that person on Instagram. And I messaged her, and I went, was that you? And you were like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, my God. So we recreated our paper towel photo at Upside Down Con. So that's our meeting place, you know?
Yeah, such a good meet cute.
Yeah.
Meeting in the
Yeah,
ladies'
so
room.
we also have seen Rachel. Rachel came to New York when, Stacy had COVID.
Yeah, cool.
And I feel like there's always trauma when I bring up that weekend. It was a little traumatic. And most recently, we just saw Fantastic
Yeah.
Four in Philadelphia or in Pennsylvania with Rachel when you guys had your lovely Joseph Quinn costumes.
I mean, I'm telling you, I literally looked and I said, I love all of you guys to death. And of course, I went to visit everyone and see everybody. I go, but a big reason why I'm here is for this joke. I go, I will go to great lengths for a joke. So I'm like, here we go. And that wig, I'm keeping that forever. Like, I might just wear that to the drugstore.
Why not?
Next time I'm out and about.
Yeah.
So realistic.
So tell us, Rachel, how would you say you became like a super big fan of Joseph Quinn? Like, was it from Eddie Munson and like kind of developed from there?
I would say that probably kicked it off. Like with, most people, I was like, because I've watched the show since the beginning. And then I was like geared up for that next season. And then all of a sudden at 35 minutes in on that first episode, there he is. And I was like, whoa, who's this person? Like, and sort of vaguely familiar, not as in like the character that he plays, but I was like, I feel like I've seen this person somewhere, but I can't pin it yet. And with most actors or people that I'm interested in just in general, got to whip that phone out, got to scroll through the IMDb and check it out. And then realizing I've seen him in like 2 or 3 things. And I was like, whoa, no way. And then just, watching him, because obviously he's like very charismatic, has a lot of warmth and heart to him. And then, wasn't just me, obviously. Everybody freaking went crazy over it. And
He was kind of a hit.
so, yeah, that was like the tipping point. And then also just him himself. I think that's a lot of it, too, why so many people, because, this was all new to him, it exploding over that whole summer of just going, one thing after another. And, of course, I love all the content as everyone else did, like eating it up. Being on Jimmy Fallon for the first time, his own, and of course him being sick and going to that was, another little, oh, look, he did that too, and going to Brazil with Jamie, that was like crazy. Just, so much of the stuff. And like, I think it was just because everybody was like, who is this person? Trying to figure out who he is. Like, you haven't seen him before. And of course, him just being very humble about it and just taking it in stride of like, this, obviously has never happened to him before. So he's just like, yeah, he's like, let's just take it one day at a time. And I think just him being very vulnerable in that sense too is why a lot of people, I think, connected with him. But circling back around, I mean, that's what a lot of it got from you, is like that it's more so him as the actor. I mean, I love Eddie, but I like Joe as just the actor himself and the person, like, so much more. And I know a lot of people, I know he would get like, you know, I'm sure people have seen it before too, where, you know, he went to cons and things and like, you know, doing like the whole little like tongue out devil sign, you know, he stopped doing that because it was kind of, you know, and I get it, because it's like after a while, it's like, I don't want to be just associated for this, even though I'm sure for the rest of his life, he'll be known as playing Eddie Munson on Stranger Things.
They beat that photo of him doing the devil horns at any con to death. Like, they beat it to death.
Overused. But that's what we are going to chat about today. So we basically are going to talk about the summer of Eddie Munson, but also how that became kind of like the summer of Joseph Quinn and that rise to kind of stardom that happened stemming from him playing Eddie Munson. I love how you shared some of your kind of like initial thoughts on the character of Eddie. Stacey, do you want to go? Because I know you've said this before, like you were skeptical, like you were like, oh, who's this drug dealer? He's never going to live up to Billy. Like, so what were some of your initial kind of thoughts of the character?
So I remember it was during COVID. There were photos of Maya, Joe, and Joseph. And it was when he had the camera around his neck and the goggles. And I'm like, who the hell is this guy? And then I read the description and I'm like, he's the head of the D&D club, but he's a drug dealer. And I'm like, okay. And like, I think everyone was still recovering from, you know, Dacre's, you know, summer 2019. So I was like, oh, you know, like, is this like a, you know, shallow version of this character all over again? And it wasn't until I started watching it that my first initial thought was, that man has the darkest set of brown eyes I have ever seen. And as a brown eye girly, I right away was like, representation. But I remember referring to him as the drug dealer, even though they say his name many, many times. I was like, oh, they're going to go out to the lake and get the drug dealer. And right away, I was like, wow, you know, either you knew somebody like Eddie Munson, mostly in high school, or you were an Eddie Munson. You know, I went to prom with an Eddie Munson. He looks like Jerry Seinfeld, but like, if Jerry Seinfeld
was Eddie Munson,
Eddie Munson. Yeah, I wonder what he's doing, you know, nowadays. But I just remember right away going, he's almost like the audience, you know, like Robin's first time in the Upside Down, really, was when they saved Steve, and she's kind of cool as a cucumber, and his just moment of going, Jesus H. Christ, it's how anybody would react, and he brought a lot of like heart and a lot of humor to it, and it wasn't trying to be a imitation of the Dustin and Steve relationship, because this was different, you know, and just like I said, I ran out and I got him tattooed on me like 3 days after Volume 1 premiered. And Shane, my tattoo artist, was like, okay. And he goes, you do realize he's going to die now? And I'm like, yeah, I know, I'm an asshole. And then he did die. And I was like,
yeah,
witchcraft.
You did that.
What about you, Megan?
So I remember not in the first episode, I was like skeptical. I was like, is this guy like going to be connected to the villain in some way? Like, is he like the kids all like
gonna sell dope,
look up to him so much, but like are they gonna like regret doing that? Like I wasn't one of the people that like saw him walking on the table and was like, oh my God, I love this guy.
Instantly
I was like,
charmed. Yeah.
I was like, a little skeptical, but I do know that by the episode where he's like in the boathouse and he's like very emotional and like he's like processing everything that went on with Chrissy, I was like, okay, like that performance is beautiful for
oh my
one.
God.
And that kind of like I connected with that. I was like, okay, he's not a bad guy. Like if there's a connection to the villain, like it's not through him. But the thing that like really sold me on Eddie was Skull Rock when he made the Lord of the Rings reference. Like that's when I was like completely gone for him. So
No.
I was a big fan, and it's really funny. I looked back because obviously I've processed a lot of my like obsession with like Stranger Things and these characters on Instagram. So I had an Instagram at the time, and not the one that not Steady Stories, obviously, but I posted my very first like edit that was on Reels that somebody had taken from a TikTok, I think, but like it was on June 1st. So like as soon as I finished watching volume 1, because I'm pretty much sure, like I've told you before, I watched like 1 or 2 episodes a night for that whole week. So
Yeah,
like June
you freak.
1st is when I was finished watching it, and I let myself start like watching stuff like on Instagram and stuff about the show, and it was like a TikTok of like Steve and Eddie, and like as just like the 2 hot guys on the show, basically. Like it
You're like,
wasn't like
"Ooh."
Steve and Eddie together, but it was like it was a TikTok of the 2 of them. So I feel like I should like repost that because it's funny
Please do.
to like look back on like memory lane. But like I do think that like Instagram and TikTok and all of the social media surrounding the show and the edits that people were making was a huge part of like what got me like so connected to those characters too, because you watch the show and you enjoy them, but then seeing like other people also enjoy them and share and like kind of remix like the scenes and stuff like that was part of like what made me super into them. So that was kind of my first reactions and like the process of like becoming a Eddie Munson fan, I guess.
A Munson girl. You know, it's funny. I remember I was behind with Game of Thrones. I didn't watch it until 2020, but my friend Amanda watched it, whatever season. I think the last season in 2019 when it aired. And there was this famous meme, I know I've mentioned it before, where I guess HBO, their database got like hacked and like episodes were getting leaked. So it was his character and the other guy that's, you know, guarding Winterfell. And it said, if this was HBO security. And I remember I didn't get the reference, but I went, I technically saw a picture of Joseph Quinn before I knew he was Joseph Quinn. Sick.
Yeah. That's really funny too, because I mean I had seen him on Game of Thrones also, but didn't really know that it was him.
Same thing.
So then a month later is when volume 2 dropped, and that was a lot of emotional damage, I think.
Why?
I have to say that I wasn't obsessed with Eddie yet. Like at that point, like I liked him, but I wasn't obsessed with him. I had not, you know, gone and gotten a tattoo 3 days after
you didn't
I
do
met
that?
him.
Yeah.
No.
Damn it.
So when I first watched that scene, I was more emotional about Max and everything that happened with Max than I was about Eddie. Like I can't rewatch it. I never edit that scene of him dying. But like because at this point, like after I've rewatched it so many times, like I can't. But it's the first time I watched it, I was like, okay, that makes sense that he died, I guess. But
it was
like,
almost like full circle. I remember Brandy said this to us once, our friend. She said he had to die because they needed somebody to pin the murders on. And it's almost like his story came to completion. It was a total circle. And the Duffer Brothers were really great writers. And I think, you know, his story was complete. Mind you, you know, in the year or so following, I'm like, la, 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 la.
Exactly.
You know, he's gonna be Cass. He's going to come back. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. But I felt like it was the perfect ending. And also, I think the reason why, say, Dacre took off so big as Billy that, you know, summer of 2019, and he took off like to brand new heights in summer of 22 was because they actually, like, whoever's their casting, you know, guy, literally, like, they get these incredible, young, talented men and women that, like, he's a middlehead, but somehow he brought so much emotional and depth to it that what would have just been, a gory, sad kind of scene Oh, no. That man, like, acted his ass off. It wasn't just a really charming guy. It was a charming guy that also knew how to act. And that's why everybody says they could see nobody else play Eddie Munson, and Eddie Munson probably wouldn't have become as huge as he did if JQ hadn't played him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I wanted to ask you guys, what do you remember whether you like subscribe to any like Eddie's coming back theories right away, or like what was that like for you that summer?
You know, for me, like I'm sure Stacey did this too. Because I was gonna ask you, Megan, did you actually wait to watch the episodes, like spread them out like you did the first segment?
So it was only 2. I watched one the night it came out and then one the next day. So I didn't watch them back to back. And I stayed off the internet that morning, like before I watched the second one. So I wasn't spoiled, if that's like I do remember actually, literally I was like, well, I'm not going to watch it tonight. I'm going to watch it tomorrow, which means I can't be on the internet. So that morning I remember like listening to the Stranger Things season 4 soundtrack because I was like, so like, I was like, I wanted to be like processing it, but like it was before I watched the second episode. Like that morning I like couldn't go on the internet, but I wanted to be like interacting.
At that exact moment, I'm drinking a margarita at 10 in the morning on my back deck going, this is horseshit.
Yeah.
So
I was still in like La La Land, listening to the soundtrack, getting excited to watch the other episode that night while you were already mourning his death.
No. So yeah, I watched them back to back that night. And of course, you know, I mean, I had like most people, it's like we had this feeling. We were hoping it wasn't true, but I had the feeling. And of course, everybody was guessing, like, I don't know if you guys remember the whole thing of when they leaked it before of like he's playing on top of the trailer, like, what song is it? What's that song going to be? And everything. And I was like, and I had guessed it already, but of course, I wasn't like, let me get online and tell everybody what I think it is.
You guessed it?
Yeah, I guessed it exactly because I was like, I'm pretty sure it's going to be Metallica. And I was like, I'm going to say. And then I was like, I said it to myself, you know, but I was just like, let's see. And I was like, oh, shit.
I made jokes it was Rich Girl by Hall & Oates.
Well, I wonder, though, when the soundtrack came out. Because if the soundtrack was already out, I have to look that up. If the soundtrack was already out,
you were probably listening to the other season's soundtrack.
It was a whole thing.
But, like,
yeah.
I think the soundtrack might have come out.
Because the big thing was, and correct me if I'm wrong, Rachel, like guitar experts were able to judge just by the trailer with his finger placement. That's insane.
Yeah. But no, for me, it was like, I was like, you know, I stayed up, I watched it, I cried, which I rarely cry at someone dying in a show, and also screaming at the television at the same time. But of course, you know, it's part of the whole, you know, circle of, you know, even though it's like, yes, if he was to make it to this next season, how would that be? How would that work out? They're trying to wrap it all up. Like, we know this, but yeah, it was just, I mean, I have friends that can't watch that episode. Like, they just can't do it. They're like, nope, like, we'll skip around I just can't go through it again. But for me,
feels
I mean,
like your heart's ripped out.
Yeah. And I more so cry now watching Gaten talk to his uncle.
Yeah.
That gets me.
That actually got me the very first time worse than the actual scene. Like, I was emotional during the actual scene, but more because it's cut with all the stuff with Max too. So it's happening at the same time. So I was more emotional about the stuff with Max. But when we got to the scene in like the epilogue with Gaten talking to Uncle Wayne, like that actually
handing
like,
the necklace over.
Yeah. And I've rewatched it a few times, but it's definitely one of the episodes like I'll rewatch the least just because
I avoid
it's so
the
intense.
Piggyback, even though it's a masterpiece. But like,
Yeah.
I think I've said this before, it's the Empire Strikes Back of episodes, because as soon as you hear the clock start to chime and you see the earthquake and the gates open, I'm like, they lost. Like, I'm getting fucking chills right now.
Yeah.
You're in chills, but I think his acting and like Gaten's chemistry too, like that really, really worked. But like him right away saying like, I didn't run away this time. By then we had already been getting like plenty of content with him.
Yeah.
And you're like, who's this charming British man? Like he seems so sweet, and he had great chemistry with Jamie because they were the newcomers.
Yeah.
and then they ripped him away from us.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to bring up next. So I feel like that month after that July and like basically everything that happened with Joseph Quinn that month made me an even bigger fan of the character. And then that's when I started like going back and rewatching and like looking for like clues of like, oh, I wonder if he could come back, if there's some sort of vampire connection here, because that was the big theory. And there are like little vampire references throughout season 4. There's also like the whole, what's the album where it says like Eddie lives, like it's a Iron Maiden album
Look
cover.
at you,
I
Megan.
think like I was like looking for all the little clues where it could be like, oh, Eddie's gonna come back. And we've talked about this a lot on the podcast. I was very heavily like into that for a while, but now at this point I'm kind of like, whatever happens. I'm not as invested in it as much anymore. But yeah, I think that part of the reason I wanted Eddie to come back so much is because I like fell in love with Joseph Quinn as well. So
There you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
The timeline of this pop culture explosion. You brought up Stacey, Chrissy Wake Up, which actually dropped before Volume 2. It came out
it did.
June 26th.
I will never forget. Literally, I was like, I think school hadn't let out. We had a lot of snow days that year. And I remember I thought I was the first person to ever discover it. So I literally pulled in the art and gym teacher. And I'm like, watch this. It's hilarious. And I made it my alarm. And it's still my alarm to this day. But like, poor JQ. I love that person at the Fantastic Four event had the Chrissy Wake Up sign and then in little letters, sorry. He can't escape it.
No, he's never going to escape it, unfortunately. It's like, it was one of those things where it's like very annoying and like, I was never really like a big fan of it, but it was also just hilarious how crazy it just blew up. Like, and I think that was a TikTok thing too, right?
Yeah,
like
it was
the power of TikTok, I guess.
I think they were called the Gregory brothers or something. That's like, I know they have a different name, but that's the person that did it or people that did it.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Yeah. I mean, and obviously we're talking about the song where they kind of like remixed when he's talking to Chrissy and telling her to wake up and like made it into a actual song.
I associate it with such bad energy now because it's my alarm. So anytime I rewatch that episode, which is a lot, I'm like, ugh. Like, I got a pit in my stomach.
That's really funny because my alarm sound is like my friend's ringtone when her husband calls. So like every time I'm with her and the phone rings, I'm like, ooh, like that's a terrible sound. But I also think that like people just that song was so annoying that it sort of like kind of contributed to the whole Eddie Munson fans being annoying kind of thing that happened that summer as well. Which was kind of unfortunate because it was like the people who connected with Eddie for a reason. Like they felt like he was kind of representative of like outcasts and like people who are kind of like not treated well by society and like
judging a book by its cover.
Yes. And just like the fact that they had someone that they felt was also seen as cool in the same way. I don't know, it was just kind of disheartening to see how like then they started getting made fun of for like the same thing. I don't know. It was like a whole kind of toxic thing a little bit that summer. And that kind of like dampened, I guess, like the fun of like the whole Eddie Munson thing going viral. But I do think that it was just like a whole social commentary. Like
Meanwhile, I'm listening to Chrissy Wake Up while driving as an actual song. I got my Munson, secret menu, frappuccino, sick as a dog, wearing an Eddie shirt. And I'm like, woo, Stacey Bubble. So yeah.
I don't know. I think it was also just like a couple TikToks that went viral of like set to that stupid music.
Yeah.
Like,
You could tell JQ was a little burnt out even early on with
Yeah.
it. And like he had a good sense of humor about it. But Megan and Rachel, would you guys agree like that he did that interview with the whole like, are you coming back? I don't know. And I'm like, he's so goddamn charming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, okay, so then let's talk about just Joseph Quinn. So, let's see. The week of promo in Brazil with Jamie was like the week right after the show Volume 2 came out. So, it was like around like July 6th to 8th, I think, if I found that correctly. But that was just so entertaining. Some things that I remember are him licking Jamie's hand. Like,
I think we all remember that. And
Yes.
Jamie's face was all of us.
I love it.
and the other thing was like, I don't know how these fans like got access to them, which I think later became kind of like a problematic thing, because when people
Mhm.
see these fans being able to just like go up to them and hug them and everything, it's like they also want that experience, and then they don't necessarily like respect boundaries of like they should
Yeah.
not necessarily have that kind of
Agreed.
access to a celebrity. But seeing him with those fans and just the way he was so sweet and hugging them was
Yeah.
definitely something that kind of like solidified like who he was, I think, in my mind. Like as a person, it just made him seem like such a kind, like warm
average
person.
Joe.
Yep.
Yeah. So those were some of the things that stuck out from that promo to me.
What about you, Rachel? What kind of like set it off with the Brazil, tour?
I mean, there's so much like content from that. It's just crazy because I will quote you, Stacey, as we talked about it a while ago. It's like Galactus. You gotta feed, gotta gobble it up. All the content.
Yep.
So like,
It's true.
it was I just remember that whole summer of like glued to my phone or on my TV on YouTube, looking up every single clip, every single thing you could find just to watch. And there's so much of that content, but a lot of it's like just interviews that they did and their chemistry together, him and Jamie. Because obviously they're stuck together for this whole time. And of course, it's both new to them. I mean, yes, Jamie was in, like Twilight and things like that. So he has a familiarity of like fandoms and things like that. But I think it was just a next level because I don't think he expected it either to be so like, yeah, I'm playing a villain, whatever. But I just think it was like, whoa, we're in this together, man. Here, we'll ride the wave, kind of thing. And then just having fun and like, I think one of them that I always find really funny is where he's reading, like they're like, oh, here, we want you to read this. What does this mean? In like Portuguese. And like Jamie's reading it and he's like, you can read this? And he's like, I'm trying, but I'm dyslexic, but I'm like, blew me out of the water, dude. I was like, I'm impressed. But just all that. And then like you said, Megan, like his interaction with fans, obviously he's very, down to earth and just, whoa, this is a lot. But obviously he doesn't want to make anyone feel bad because you can see a lot of those girls are, they were in tears wanting to give them, little gifts and things and just him being like, oh my God, thank you so much. Like, this is crazy. Like, I don't expect anything kind of thing because I'm sure they were just like, oh, we're just going to go do this press tour. That'll be it. And it's like, no, that's not it. But yeah, it's just every single thing. That's why I was just like, oh my God. I mean, I remember even staying up later, like as when he started doing other, like not even US cons, when he did like the Paris one. That's a crazy one of all the things that happened. I don't know if you guys ever knew that like him and Jamie basically got like trapped in a bathroom because the fans were so rampant because they oversold like they do with most cons with people, popular people. And it was just a whole thing of whether they had to hide out in the bathroom and wait for someone to come escort them out because they couldn't get out of the bathroom.
Watch it was a unisex bathroom. Imagine Stacey with a little French beret and I'm pounding on the door going, come on guys, today, gotta get in. That's crazy.
But yeah, I literally stayed up for that. I had to be at work the next day. Like, why the hell am I staying up when I could just see this content later? But I'm like, must see it, must consume,
Mm-hmm.
Galactus.
Yeah.
That's really funny. But
I mean, it's true,
I have this hunger. I've got to feed it.
he went to Europe right after that, which on July 10th is when he was at the con in London,
Yeah.
which I think that also went viral
Yes, it
because
did.
of him having like an emotional moment during like the Q&A. Which
That literally, I just remember I was on my back deck and I watched a video of it. And I have, without getting on my soapbox, I have my own, people, need to be treated the right way and stuff. And this clearly they oversold. This was his first con. He was excited and stuff. He wanted to make it worthwhile for everybody. And he was mistreated. And I love that fan said such a heartfelt thing to him, with her service dog. And it really touched him. And right away, like, I think that was another big reason why people fell in love with JQ, because he really, it showed he's like one of us. I would have choked up. I mean, I was choking up watching it, but I went, as a con goer, I'm like, this is breaking my heart that this happened. I'm like, come to America. And then on the other side of things, I'm like, he's just such a nice guy. And like you said, you're like, yes, he's been working in theater and he's been working, in television here and there with miniseries. But this is on a whole new level. They basically threw him in head first. And like, I'm sorry, unless you have somebody to manage it, accordingly, I wouldn't know what to do either, and he seems so personable.
Mhm.
So that was heartbreaking, but also very sweet that she basically apologized
Yeah.
on behalf of, everybody, and also let him know how much he meant to all the fans.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he kind of teared up, which I totally agree with you that, like, even though some of these experiences were probably extremely challenging for him at the time, it was like seeing how he dealt with it was, I
Mhm.
guess, what made more people connect even
Yeah.
more with him. And I
Yeah.
feel like me seeing that was like, I was like, I've never watched a show before and like had a character that I was like, I want to meet the actor that played that character.
Yeah.
Like I've never had that experience before. And until Joseph Quinn, like I was like, oh,
Love
like
that.
I want to do that. Like I want to go to a convention and be able to like get an autograph and take a picture with him. He was the first actor that I've ever like had that like that kind of thought about. And it was before they announced that he was coming to like the States, but I was like, if that happens, if he does conventions in the United States, like I want to go to one of them. Like, so, and it was because of all of that stuff that happened. It was not necessarily because of like the show. It was me seeing all of this stuff and like seeing who he was kind of. But after that, I feel like the next thing that I have was like Fallon, which you already kind of brought up. Is there anything else that we're like missing in between there?
When did the chocolate button eyes thing happen?
That happened at a con. I want to say it's, I'm trying to think if that was
It was Canada, I think, right?
It was Canada, because
The Canada one wasn't until August 29th.
but it was the
so-
summer, so I feel like that makes sense. Yeah, I believe it's the same. I don't know if it's the same girl for sure that also asked him, because I don't know if you remember the whole thing of like when his actual birthday was. There was that whole, his birthday was, they had originally said, oh, it's May 15th, 1990.
Have you seen the meme where it says, I've been a JQ fan for so long, we thought his birthday was in May?
Yeah.
And then the girl asked him, I'm pretty sure it's the same girl, maybe I'm wrong, but like she had asked like, because she compliments, his eyes too, but like she goes like, oh, when's your birthday? Or when he said his whole name, when he was like, she's like, oh, what's like your whole name or something like that. And then he was like, Joseph Anthony Francis Quinn. And then they're like, oh, and people just like lost it. Like I was like, just because of someone's whole name, but okay. I mean, granted, I
Any
was like,
little crumb.
yeah, I know. But yeah, and the confirmation of like, this is my birthday. Like, and then someone said like, why did you say that? That was he's like, I never said that. So,
Right.
I love that you're asking somebody like, why did you? I was like, I've never seen any video where he said that it was May, but then someone asked him,
It was
is
just like wrong on Google, I think.
Yeah.
Like,
and I was like, this is the thing, like, don't trust the like things you see on the internet all the time. But then so she said, oh, I just want to say like you have like something like the most beautiful eyes. And then he's like, oh, thank you. He's like, my mom calls them chocolate button eyes. And of course, then people went out and
That
bought
took
Cadbury
off.
chocolate buttons, excuse me.
Their stock went up. They were like,
Yeah.
what the hell is happening?
I was like, make him a spokesperson, people.
Yeah, like Joe with Fisherman's Friends.
I know.
Yes.
They both back different candies.
Yeah.
I like with Fallon, the Hellfire shirt, because like
Yes.
as we know, the Hellfire shirt, you couldn't like
Oh, God.
turn your
Yeah.
head without seeing one. And I liked the black t-shirt version of it, but I love that he brought Fallon one, and I do love that he showed his knack for impressions, because when he was doing
Yes.
press for season 4, it was really hilarious to see the interviews with him, Natalia, Joe, Maya, and then Gaten, and
Yeah.
he kind of showed his talent for being able to do an accent like on a moment's notice. But it was really funny because he did that. That was kind of a game. And then,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just felt like, and then he did his Eddie voice, his American accent,
Yes.
talking about how he got caught in customs.
How you
I'm
got
like,
delayed. Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny. And he's had like other like customs or passport issues that
Yes.
we found out about since then.
Tom Hanks
because-
from the terminal.
But yeah, he told them about how he, got caught in customs, and like told the people asked if he was coming back. That's just been like the running joke, if he's going to come back or not. So it's like, I don't know. At this point, I guess.
Wouldn't it be hilarious if, like, clearly they're not going to do this, but wouldn't it be hilarious that literally there's not even a scene with him
Yeah.
and he had us all fooled? Because I'm
Yeah.
like, man, he's so sick of it. Now he's not even, like, having a poker face anymore. He's like, yeah, I might have that feeling too. And then those
Yeah.
huge chocolate buttons
Yeah.
are looking, and he's like,
Yeah, but Fallon, I remember like staying up to watch it.
Yeah.
Like
mhm.
again, like why? Why didn't I just watch it the next day? But it was like I was getting lots of dopamine from that at the time, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
So it was funny to like watch his impressions, and I agree. I think also they brought up like the Jack Black thing, like Jack
Yes.
Black like complimenting his
And his
character.
His reaction
Yeah,
of
yeah, which was so cute.
cute.
Yeah.
Like clapping and like being so excited about it. So that was pretty fun. And then later that week, which also fun fact about me, I got my appendix out that week.
Oh.
It was that summer?
It
Girl.
was that summer. So, and I remember this because when I went, I had my appendix out on like a Wednesday. Like it was an emergency situation. It didn't rupture, but like it was painful. And I went to the ER and they were like, yeah, you need it out. So I was supposed to go away with my friends from college that weekend. And I was like, but I want to go to my girls' weekend. And the
Cut
doctor
your
was
doctor going, no.
no, the doctor was like, okay, like then go. Like the doctor was very like, the doctor, not the surgeon, but they were like, as long as you feel okay, like you can get up and move around and stuff.
Oh,
So
I thought
Yeah.
like before you got it taken out, I was like, that is a
Oh,
terrible doctor.
yeah.
yeah. No, they were like, no, you need to get it out today. And then like in 3 days from now, like just see how you feel. Like there's no reason you shouldn't be able to go away this weekend. So I did. And I remember my friend driving me because I like had just had surgery. So I was like, yeah, can you like drive me so I at least don't like I can lean back in the seat and I don't have to drive. So my friend drove me and she like literally listened to me like talk about Stranger Things the whole time. I had like notes in my phone already.
That's very Megan coded.
Yes.
Because I had watched like the whole season multiple times, and I can't remember at that point if I had gone back and like watched the whole show yet, but I had watched season 4 at least like 3 or 4 times, and she had seen it too, and like she was down to like talk about it with me, but I was like, this is so embarrassing. But like also that week was the week when Joseph Quinn met Metallica. I think it was
Yes.
actually that day. If it was a Friday, it might have been that day.
At the same Lollapalooza Joe performed at.
Oh, I didn't realize that connection. Yeah, but anyway, I was like, oh my gosh, Joseph Quinn met Metallica. I was like so like proud of him, which is so weird. Like I'm like, I don't know this guy. Like, why is it making me so emotional?
My sister
that-
texted me and she was like, the guy who plays Eddie met Metallica. And just like It was so cute, them being like, you did it to Justice, and he got to Jay.
Yeah.
And just his, like, reaction to getting the guitar and them going, you're taller in real life.
Yeah.
I'm like, he is. He is.
And then when he asked him
Yeah,
to, like,
so-
sign it, when he's like, will you sign it? And, like, he's like, I think it was, like, James is like, you want me to, like, fuck it up? And he's like, yeah. Like, you know, like, handing it to him. And he's like,
You're Metallica.
yeah.
Didn't they have, Rachel, they had, like, footage of Eddie playing during their set?
Yes, they did, like, a whole, like, I think they still do it now. I wouldn't be surprised if it's something they just add on to the regular, you know, routine of things of
love
when they
that.
play, you know, the song and they have it in the back, like, on the, you know, huge Jumbotron.
Yeah, super cool.
I mean,
love
that song
they,
blew up, too.
Yes.
Yeah, and I love that they embraced it and, like, were, you know, like, excited about it. Like, why
Kate Bush and
wouldn't you be?
Metallica,
Yeah.
they did very well that summer. And it's nice that it, like, just, like, it introduced a whole new generation and new audience to
Yeah,
it. Because
that's what I was going to say.
I had only
Yeah.
heard, like, Metallica's Master of Puppets from that scene in Old School when Will Ferrell has, like, the pantyhose. He's like, you know, telling me about this will effing kill you. And then he's like, no, I'm kidding. And he takes the cheese balls. That's my only exposure to that song.
Yeah,
So,
same probably, honestly. Like, I feel like I didn't, I feel like I was aware of that song, but it was, like, definitely, like,
name 3 songs, Megan.
Metallica songs.
Yep. Don't cheat.
I feel like I know a couple, but they're not coming to my mind right now. I'm cutting that out.
On the spot.
Yeah, no. I only have Hotel Mira songs in my head right now.
Of course
Sorry.
you do. Girl, cut that out too. When was it, guys, that he wore the pink suit and there was the little kid dressed as Eddie and he went, Eddie, and he fist bumped him? It was something for press with Jamie.
It might have been at the Canada con. Oh no, I think it was when he was wearing that pink suit.
Yeah,
They're talking about the light pink, right?
Yeah. Salmon.
Yeah.
It was in LA. It was some kind of it wasn't
like
at
a
the
sit down with Matt and Ross or something too.
Yeah, it's some kind of
weren't
sit
they
down
there?
thing. Yeah.
That was cute. And seeing him with kids, because I remember, I might be jumping ahead, but the Canada show, I actually talked to a mom who had her 2 little girls. They were dressed up as Chrissy. And she was like, yeah, you know, she goes, I felt kind of bad because when we first took the photo, one of my girls was being a little shy and wasn't right up against him. And then, you know, she started crying because she felt like she missed out. And JQ saw this happen and he went, let's retake it. And the photographer kind of was like, no, time is money. Let's go. And he went, no, we're retaking it. And he's just like, we all met him, like very personable and stuff and very funny and cheeky. And I just love that he was so sweet to like that audience, especially like, you know, they probably hadn't even seen these episodes or saw him become, you know, Bat Chow, but it was so sweet seeing those photos.
Yeah. No, I would say that I didn't have anything else written down for like until the Canada show. It was fun when they were at the Fan Expo in Canada because that was kind of like seeing Jamie and Joe like reunite or whatever, and like
the Dirty Dancing
their
lip,
hug
basically.
that they did.
Yes.
Like, that was definitely like a memorable moment of that summer.
Would you guys say that was one of your favorite Q&As with him?
I don't know that I've ever like watched the whole thing. I've just seen like the funny clips.
It is good.
Like,
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I've watched so many. It blends.
yeah.
They blend together.
Yes.
Like bats flying over the upside down sky. The Canada show, I remember though, because the ongoing joke is I don't have a passport. I don't travel, guys. You know that. And right away I was like, how do I get to Canada and back without a passport? And I was just starting my new job and everyone's like, holy fucking shit, Stacey. Like, this is not good. But our friend Haley was there and just seeing all the footage, and he looked delicious. And he just seemed to be having the time of his life meeting fans that I was like, all right, United States, come on, come on, come on. And I was getting mad because unfortunately, I know when he was on holiday, as the Brits say,
Yes.
people were crossing boundaries. And I said, guys, this isn't making us look good. Like, he's never going to do a U.S. con if this happens. But thankfully, an announcement came in November and I was at work. And let's just say I was like, kids, open up your books and just silent read for a minute. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. And I mean that he did end up, announcing that he was going to do Fan Expo in the United States, and then we all got to meet him. But I feel like that was sort of after the whole summer, like,
Yeah.
So is there anything else about the summer of that year
Listen,
that we would
we
like
all
to
got
mention?
to meet that man in the winter and spring, and he was lovely. I know that there was a band. F you, Megan.
I'm trying to
I
keep
know
us on
that-
track.
Yeah, I know. You're forever keeping the leash on the puppy, Stacy. I guess. Let's see. There was a portrait in a farm in Indiana where the crops were cut.
Yes.
This was over July.
Yeah.
I
in
remember
shape.
this. I do remember this now that you say it. Yeah.
Could you imagine if aliens invaded that particular day? They'd be like, "Is that their god?" Like,
Was it like him doing the hellfire hands too?
Yeah.
oh yeah, the
Yeah.
tongue,
The tongue
thing.
and everything. Yeah.
I know the band. Now I don't know this band very well, but Motionless in White. They did the whole Chrissy Wake Up thing when they performed at Red Rock, and I know some people were like, "Ugh," but I was like, "That's kind of cool that like it's making this big of a thing." And I know a lot of cosplayers were like, "I need to track down," which
Yeah.
we're doing a disclaimer.
Oh yeah, we said the
his-
wrong thing last time.
We got his sneaks
Oh, the
wrong.
Reeboks?
Both Rachel and Juan. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
We're
we
like,
were
they're
like
Nikes.
Adidas, Nike, like.
We failed you, Rachel. We failed you. But I think he had such a when we did our whole style episode, we were like, he wears that entire costume throughout the show, and yes, he peels and
Yes.
adds layers on and off, but it's such an iconic look, and
Yeah.
he looked so different than the actual Eddie Munson character.
Hmm.
So I just loved seeing him look so wide-eyed, especially at the premiere, which was really, really sweet. But talking about his costume, what were some of the bands that he's repping on his battle vest?
Well, for sure, you in the back is the Dio shirt that's been cut into a back patch, and that's actually vintage Dio. They contacted his estate, and his wife was like, oh, I can give you some things, thinking they were only just going to get one thing, and then she ended up giving them several vintage Dio
Oh,
shirts
wow.
so they could use them, which is really cool. And then, you've got the little pins, you've got the Wasp pin, there's Slayer, you've got other little patches. There's a band called Accept, and also Megadeth. And, he mentions Black Sabbath in there, because we all know about, it's pretty metal, about, biting the head off a bat. And Steve going, what? But we know about this already. And then
Steve, where have you been living? A
Judas,
rock?
Yeah.
Judas Priest. Yeah, Judas Priest. But I also think it's cool, like you were saying earlier, Stacey, it opened up and, of course, gave resurgence to so many bands that, from 40 plus years ago, people were like, what? And who didn't have, who were metal, but now they see this character and it's like, oh, what kind of bands is he into? Let me, connect in another way and start listening to this music and opening up a whole new audience to it, which is amazing.
You will actually find this really amusing. I made a playlist once, and Andy and Brandy were in the car with me. And you know how Detroit Rock City plays by Kiss?
Yes.
In the first episode? Well, I don't know really a lot about music, guys. So I put on Kiss's only disco song, I Was Made for Loving You. And
Yes.
literally, they both looked at me and they went, this would not be on Eddie's
It wouldn't. Unless he's
playlist.
trying to mac on a girl.
That's true. That is true.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, no, the scene that that he's talking to Steve and he mentions Ozzy, when Ozzy Osbourne obviously just passed away,
Yeah.
Stacey and I posted that scene on Instagram and it has almost 5 billion views. So it was very fun to kind of read the comments of everybody
Yeah.
kind of revisiting that scene in the light of Ozzy passing and just kind of that tribute to
Yeah.
Ozzy Osbourne being in Stranger Things was kind of a powerful moment now that he just sadly passed away. So yeah, that was I definitely agree that so many bands, not just Metallica, were kind of reintroduced to people through that character. So that was pretty cool.
And I just loved all the behind the scenes stuff too of him doing all this press.
Yeah.
Like especially like, you know, you could just tell the chemistry with all the castmates. I love his story of how he got two in his head about his American accent, and finally Charlie had to be like, "You're on your own, dude. I don't know what to tell you," you know.
Oh,
But
that
he-
reminds me. When was he on that podcast?
Oh, Off the Menu. That was during the summer, right?
I think that was
Yeah.
it was like around the late summer, early fall, because I remember listening to it and I was driving to work. So I was probably back to school. But it was definitely that same time frame. And I feel like that was like a big moment for all of us,
You
Joseph
take the
Quinn
fish
fans.
skeleton home.
Yeah.
And you put it on things, place it on things.
Yeah. What do you do with it? I don't know. I love the whole, if the hatch was attached and then you just hear JQ go,
Yeah.
let's spend a lot of time on this.
Yeah.
And I think that like that dry British way,
Exactly.
that is what sold me right away. I'm like, and the fact that he's a foodie, like he's like, this isn't my main course, this
It's
is my pasta course.
Yep.
Love
Yeah.
it.
And then people got upset because he like said that he didn't like picky eaters and
Oh God.
I don't either.
oh, and
He loves his carbs though, you know.
his bread, it's bread, it's
martinis.
bread.
It's bread. Yeah, his martinis that
Yeah.
whew,
Extra dry or whatever. I don't know.
extra filthy. My sister drinks martinis, and I'm like, one time she was like, it came with another glass, and she goes, that's the sidecar. And I went, do we need to have an intervention? And she's like, no, these are delicious. And I guess that bar that he mentions, it's famous for, you know, what is it, only 2 drinks, and then they cut you
Yeah.
off because they're that strong. Man.
That's crazy.
It's like
I
an
would
old
smell it,
school.
and I'd
I
be
believe
like-
it's like an old school steakhouse in LA. Because he like
Oh,
oysters.
it's in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I couldn't get Stacey to eat oysters with me.
In
I s-
Denver.
I still haven't had one yet. So I can
You've
eat
never
the
had an
snot.
oyster?
The snot. Yeah. I was
Okay.
like,
when you guys come in September, maybe we can try to get oysters.
Let's eat oysters before Stacy gets on an airplane.
Yeah. Seems like a great idea.
Yeah.
we'll just chug them.
Man, but, you know, closing thoughts, I just remember it was during August of 22. I mean, that was all that consumed my brain. You know,
Yep.
I always, from the very beginning, and Brandy can even say this, I was always a Steve girl, but Eddie. I mean, I even named my damn dog after him. You
Mhm.
know, I was like, that's your namesake, boop. But I remember hearing the rumor around August that he was in talks to maybe play the new Human Torch. And my worlds collided. And I was like, could you imagine? And guess what? It happened. And it was glorious.
Yep.
Yeah, and I mean, you were a big Gladiator fan also.
Yes.
So
Mhm.
like the fact that he was also joined that franchise, like
The Quiet Place Day One, you and me were boohoo crying. His career has taken off to such lengths, and I think it's because he's classically trained. You know, his dad teaches, you know, acting. And I love that he even said in some interviews, he was like, guys, I was doing a lot of theater, you know, a lot of television. And I remember my parents told me, you know, it's kind of like you're going, you know, almost half a year between gigs and stuff. You might have to find something else. And just by chance, I would love for them to leak the audition tape because, man, imagine.
yeah. That's something that I would love to see that I feel like we have not gotten to see, that it would like totally go viral for sure if they would release that. But yeah.
They're saving it. I know they're saving it. They have to. Like I keep saying before, that, you know, they need to do a box set of all the seasons, a deluxe box set,
bonus
everything
content.
with commentary on every single episode. And it can
The
be with
case
cast
is in the shape of a waffle.
or something. Yeah, a Demogorgon. And then have, you know, like everyone's audition, because of course we've seen a lot of everybody's auditions, but I'm just like, have everyone's audition. Like, of course there's so much content, like I know there's so much they've not released and they're just either waiting for that. I mean, if they don't do it, they're dumb. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Rachel, do you believe that they really were like running out of light and they did all these silicone appliances and they just didn't get to use it? Or do you think it was filmed for something for season 5?
See, I'm half and half with it. I feel like it's stuff that either they filmed and they decided to, like, it didn't work out for what they were trying to do, or they tried different things in him getting attacked or whatever. And part of me is like, oh, maybe it is something that's going to be used later. Like, you know, because people always film things and it's like, oh, maybe put it to the side or we re-edit it and we put it in for later. Because the thing that has always bugged me is like when he died, I'm like, so no one decided to drag his body out? You just left him there? What the fuck? You know?
I know
So-
that was kind of it. Yeah, like guys, come on. I mean, I discovered AO3 because of that character, and I was like, okay, well, it's fixed. We're good.
Yes. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, fix were like the only way I like processed that whole.
I
that
heard
whole
that
ending.
his Funko Pop, I heard, was one of the most like one that was made into knockoffs because it sold out so quickly through Target. I got it luckily before volume 1 even aired. I'm like, I guess I'll get him. I'm certainly glad I did now. Man.
Yeah. I the other thing I was going to say about the content that they haven't released was I was obsessed with that like interview that there's like a photo of him being interviewed in this
in a
chair.
The chair,
But like yes, but there's other people in that same chair that the video did come out of the interviews, but we've never seen Joseph Quinn's interview in that chair. Like, so I don't know. Are they saving it for the documentary that I think that they're making? Like, who knows? Who knows?
I mean,
But-
we see that he's a menace during these press junkets.
Yeah.
You know, we've seen some of the shenanigans he's pulled, and I'm like, you know what? I appreciate that, and I love that he's kind of like, even though like clearly, you know, his career has gone to such huge lengths and stuff. I have said it time and time again. I've never seen this happen before. In the 4th season of a popular show, a newcomer that was one season take off the way he did. You know, like I everybody was him for Halloween, myself included. I remember driving by that summer and some girl was getting like literally handcuffed against a state trooper car, and she had an Eddie vest on, and I yelled out the window, "I like your vest." That state trooper and that girl gave me 1,000 curses. They were not happy.
Yeah, I wore a Hellfire shirt on Halloween. I'm really lazy about like Halloween costumes, but I had to join the Hellfire Club that Halloween. Like, it was the only thing you could do. But it was just a phenomenon. Yep.
They were sold out of that shirt for frickin' ever at Hot Topic. I remember that, trying to get that.
Yeah. I did get it at Hot Topic, but probably later. Like, I feel like they were sold out.
There was
over
like
the
a whole
summer.
like wait. There was not a wait list, but it was like, you can pre-order. We won't get it until like September, maybe December.
I know. I eventually got one, but I got one off like wish.com, which if like there was an open flame within 5 miles, I'd go up. There was that much polyester on me, and like it was shiny. It looked horrible, but I'm like, look at me. You know, I'm wearing my not, you know, Nike's, Reeboks.
What Funko Pops came out like first for Eddie? Like, was it the Target one? Was
It
that the
was.
very first
Yeah.
one? Okay. And was that over the summer? Do you
It
remember?
was right.
I
It
feel
was
like
in May.
yeah.
Okay. Like before the season even came out?
That's how I got mine.
Gotcha.
Either that or a stock guy really got in trouble. Because I remember I got the action figure just to get it. And that likeness, though, I am somebody who's very big on facial structure. And I feel like the more unique of a face you have, because his, like, you know, jawline is very, you know, distinct. And so is in his cheekbones and his eye shape. So there have been some real close efforts.
Yeah.
And then there's not so much. So that's why I think I like the Funko Pops, because I'm like, they do look like little chocolate button eyes, you know?
Yeah.
Just all staring.
Yeah, they're cute. All right. Well, this was a super fun conversation.
Yeah.
It was a little trip down memory lane for sure.
Right?
And
Memories.
maybe my question would be like, do you feel like the Eddie Munson craze is over? Or do you think it's never going to end?
I think it's died down. Would you agree,
yeah,
Rachel?
definitely died down. I mean, there's people, I mean, you'll still find TikToks now that are like they're not old. They're just people re-editing, like the love for him is still there. And I think it's because obviously season 5's coming and people still have that hope that like we'll get something. And I feel like we'll get something. It probably won't be what everybody wants, but it's, you know. But yeah, I don't think it's gone. I mean, there's so many people that, you know, they're diehard for that, you know, as we've all seen from, you know, fanfic to tattoos to cosplayers. Like,
agree.
Like I said, he'll be known for that forever.
Yeah, I was going to do the worst reference. I was going to be like, it's like Henry Winkler and the Fonz, but no, it's not, Stacey. So I'm just going to be quiet now.
I think that kind of
That works.
tracks. The con that I met Joseph Quinn at, I also got to go watch Henry Winkler do a panel, so that was fantastic.
Man, it was written in the stars.
He's a cool dude.
I agree. I reposted a scene, the Skull Rock scene that I love of him like saying to Mordor it is. I just reposted it on my Instagram and it's like almost at 2 million views. Like, and people
Is it set to Soldier Poet King?
Yeah.
Because I know everyone said that was like his song.
Yeah. I had posted that that was one of the first reels that I had posted on our podcast page that went super viral, like 3 million views. So like,
I know we get to hear his voice at the beginning of every episode. Thanks, GQ.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Skull Rock, do you know it?
You know it. Ceased and assist. Like...
It's mixed with our music. It's you know, it's
fine. Loophole.
No, I totally agree. I feel like it's definitely something that is going to be sort of a lasting thing. And we've all sort of, you know, moved on to other hyperfixations as well. But
what would that be?
I think for
Megan.
Stacey, it would be Joe, like DJO. Joe.
I mean, it's obviously really bad. I mean, I basically converted poor Brandy because we got close because I was constantly posting him in my stories that finally she was like, man, this guy is attractive. It's been like almost brainwashing with you. And I'm like, welcome to the cult of Munson. And, you know, I don't travel, guys, as you know. It takes a lot to get my ass on an airplane. So going to New Orleans and then Philly, where I met you guys, you know, it was just so much fun. And I have him tattooed, as Maya Hawke and Joe Keery said, multiple times on me. Just right away, I go, more than a couple. And I'm like, but you're still my favorite one, Joe. Which I remember Brandy, she was like, you know, would you ever get a cast tattoo? This was in New Orleans. And I went, no. And she goes, why? And I go, because what if he doesn't come back as Cass? Then I'm an asshole with this tattoo. And she got a beautiful tattoo of Cass. But, you know, I've been able to show him my ink and stuff. And he just seems so appreciative because, like you said, Rachel, when Maya Hawke during the puppy interview, which they need to redo that. None of all the puppies wanted to go to their mama, Joe Keery, and they ignored JQ. But I love that she was like, oh, yeah, people have, like, my character tattooed on them, stuff from my album, and he looks floored.
He's
and
like,
I'm like,
what?
oh,
They do?
My sweet summer child.
Yeah, I was like, it's only the beginning, my friend. Just buckle up and enjoy the ride.
Hold my ketamine. No, edit that. Hold my honeycombs.
Yes.
Well, and then I guess maybe we can wrap it up just saying that this whole phenomenon also made us all come together and created so many fun friendships where we could just be with people who also were as excited about these characters and the show and Joseph Quinn just as a person. So I'm glad that it brought all of us together.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's chat merch because I know you said you had a few things that you wanted to talk about, Stacey.
I do.
Oh, can I go first because I just have like one thing.
What do you got to share?
Today in the mail, I got my little Joe like iced coffee koozie thing.
Oh, I saw that.
That Journal and Jot Studios, which is also like Showtime style, which put an S on it now because they have a new account. But they
give her a follow, please.
Yeah, they put their artwork that they had made, those stickers that we've talked about. They put that on like one of those like coffee koozie things that's like perfect for like your iced coffee, and like
I love
you
that.
can bring it to work and it doesn't, sweat all over your desk. So I'm super excited about it, and I used it for the first time today and I love it. And she pointed out that there's a couple new little pieces of artwork on it that weren't on the sticker sheet. So
Really?
Yeah, you have to check it out. It's really cute. So
Love that.
I was very excited about that. Oh,
Love
and let
them.
me shout out also, you might have been, were you going to talk about Alyssa's like photo book thing?
Why don't you take it away, my
Okay,
friend?
because I actually won the giveaway that
Look at you.
Alyssa was doing of the photo book. So
The Back on You book, yeah.
it's photos that she took on the Back on You tour at a couple different cities. So that was really cool, and I just wanted to shout that out and thank her for sending me a copy in the giveaway that she did.
She's the best. I mean, the photo book is gorgeous. Well worth it, guys. And I know they're selling out fast, but I bought 2 prints from it. The one where he looks like he bit into the most delicious cheeseburger. And I have it framed proudly on my wall, and I look at it and I'm always like, cheeseburgers. Yeah. That's what I associate. So let's see for merch. So what has dropped, and thanks to Rachel, I actually knew that my CVS was carrying these items. It was the Stranger Things CoverGirl and Sally Hansen makeup collaboration. Drugstore makeup is pricey, and I had to reel it in a little bit, and I was going to ask for the display case, but then I was like, Stacey, you don't need it. Quinn will pee on it. But I've yet to like test everything out, and literally I trim my nails so short that I don't have nails, so I found that really humorous that I got the glow in the dark like crackle nail polish. But there's a eyeshadow palette. I believe that there's highlighter, maybe there's lip gloss, like the whole 9 yards. But it's very retro, very 80s, and I love that they're already starting to come out with stuff. Did you guys get any?
I have not. No,
I didn't get anything yet.
Well, sucks to suck. Yeah. And also, we've mentioned it before, and if you join our Patreon, you can see me sample the Chips Ahoy Stranger Things cookies. And I got my newest steady art by Gemma Draws, which is adorable. And
that was the one that came out that she put out the weekend we were all together, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And right
so
away,
cute.
we're like, ooh, look at that. It fell, the frame I have it in, it fell off my wall and hit one of my crystals. And dear Lord, I thought the roof was caving in. I was like, God damn it, boys, don't scare me like that. And
I feel like this is a common occurrence of your artwork trying to kill you.
It all the time. Oh, but then shout out to Leah for making the adorable and dapper looking Quinn portrait. He has never looked more handsome, so appreciate you. And shout out to Jennifer Denham, who takes really great photos at concerts and captured some really great looks of Joe at Lollapalooza. And hopefully we'll stream it soon and maybe have some buzz balls and make a night out of it, Megan.
Oh, that's
what do you say?
we're going to do? We're going to
Yeah, we're going to drink buzz balls.
drink buzz balls and watch
We're gonna be-
the
we're gonna be
Lollapalooza
classy.
performance. Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds like a plan. Are we going to do a
Classy.
live of that, or?
I mean, we should. I'm telling you, I was so mad that I was too lazy the second Coachella weekend, because you know how like they had said snakes were like going in the like grass. I was going to go to Dollar Store and get a bunch of rubber snakes and pin them to my clothing. That beyond clever.
I
think
was at
maybe
the hospital with my dad that
You had some
day,
stuff
so-
going on. Yeah. Me, I'm just like, I don't want to go up the street to Dollar Tree. But I might wear my flower crown at the festival, guys.
You
I might be that
Go
girl.
for it.
I think that's a great idea. Like,
I feel like Kesha would appreciate
when
that.
can you do that kind of stuff? Like, you
Yeah.
have to.
I'd look
All
like a
right.
nut if not.
Let me also shout out my little giveaway that I'm doing.
Oh, yes.
So when you hear this episode, it'll be open for about another week. So feel free to join. But if you don't have a Crux Hotel bag or slippers, I did have one sent to me that I'm using for a giveaway. And so if you check out Steady Stories, that Instagram, my Instagram.
That was great, babe. You're doing amazing, sweetie.
So Rachel gets a little behind the scenes here. This is where you can see that I actually do edit our podcast.
Yeah, us just sweating and me saying ketamine. Like, it's bad.
You can win that that VIP merch, and basically I'm just bribing everybody to like listen to my new favorite band in that giveaway, but it is what it is.
And what's that band, Megan?
Hotel Mira.
Okay, just checking.
We've talked about it.
I accidentally called it Hotel Miranda the other day. And
To
I was like,
who? To me?
to Rachel. I went, Hotel Miranda? Or one. And I was like, no, that's a character from Sex and the City. So I was wrong. Whoops. We're going to be reuniting in Connecticut soon.
Oh, yeah. We're going to see each other. Like, what's the countdown? Let's see. About a month.
Couple of weeks.
It's the 24th. We're going to see each other on the 25th. You and me.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
Connecticut.
yeah. The 27th is the Joe show in Connecticut. So a month. Basically a month.
I'm so excited. I hope he wears a slutty little outfit.
Okay. It's
Just
probably
tiny
too
shorts,
close
that's
to
it.
home. He's
Just shorts.
Yeah,
at the festival.
it's too hot for all that clothes,
It's
you know.
I really hope we get
In a flower crown.
shorts at
Yep.
the festival.
That you threw to him.
Yes.
So
And then
September,
lock ties.
it's kind of going to be cooler though in a month. But
We don't want him to get a chill.
Yeah.
Don't want our
We'll
boy
see.
sick.
No.
He's
He's got press to do.
Anyway, we'll report back and let you know how much fun we have in Connecticut at the festival in Maryland, where you guys are coming to my
Yep.
state.
Crab cakes.
Crab cakes and oysters for everybody.
Blair Witch.
No, crabs and football. That's what Maryland does. Do you know what that's from?
Crabs in your football. Football in your
It's from
crabs.
Wedding Crashers.
What?
In Wedding Crashers, they're like crabs and
Oh.
football. That's what Maryland does.
Well, I love that the director of Marmalade plays the crazed brother in that.
Yeah.
It was a gift, Todd.
Oh, really?
Yep, that's the director
Yep.
of Marmalade.
I didn't know that. That's so funny. All right, let's wrap this up. Speaking of Instagram, you can find us at Skull Rock Broadcast. Also pretty much everywhere on social media, but we're most active on Instagram. I'm at Steady Stories. Rachel, do you want us to shout out your Instagram or?
I mean, you can. It's
up to you.
private. But I mean, my Twitter's for everybody, but who cares? I'm not active on there,
I'm
but
unreachable.
sorry.
If you want to be
Sorry.
friends, if you want to be friends with Rachel because she's so cool, you can request to follow her.
And
on
maybe
Instagram.
if she feels like it, she might accept it.
check me out on Twitter too. I may be
Is
on
it
there
the
sometimes.
same username?
Yeah, same username.
Which is Green Drat.
Green D rat. But yeah, that's fine.
Goodbye. She'll show you how to work the paper towel dispenser and talk movies.
And next time I
Okay,
see you, Megan,
and-
we can cast a film. We can cast from your phone. We'll figure it out.
Oh, you're
You
going
don't
to show me how to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. And Stacey is at Stacey Reviews.
Yep, I am.
Oh,
I
and
know my last name, guys.
And also make sure that you check out our Patreon. Stacey did mention it, but she's doing some really fantastic taste tests for the Patreon. I haven't watched any of them yet. Full disclosure.
Man, betrayal.
But I posted them, and apparently people like them. So
Apparently.
Oh my God. Oh, this was fun, guys. So yeah, Patreon bonus content. We love you. And we have some other giveaways coming up soon, actually.
Do we?
Yeah, the Apple shirt that Kate wants to give away.
Oh, yes, because nothing says the fall more than a walk at the apple orchard.
I'm leaving that in.
Yep, please do.
All right, I think that we're like
Wait, is it the green
losing
apple
it
one?
here. So let's. Is it? No, I think it's the regular one. I don't know. Was the
okay.
green one the special one or?
That was the one at the pop out.
Yeah.
Pop out. Ooh. Pop up. Joe! All right, we need to wrap this up.
wrap this up.
Over and out.
And on that note, we'll talk to you next time. Oh, it's season 4. This was season 4.
Happy season 4.
We'll see you next time. Over and out.
Over and out.